If you've been following the channel, then you might know I am revisiting the entire Infinity Saga, and I decided to watch The Incredible Hulk. Not the first original movie that came out, the 2008 film, the one that's actually part of the MCU. I haven't watched this since 2008, since I was a kid, and I don't know why I haven't revisited it, because I've always enjoyed this movie. Unfortunately, I remembered it as a kid a lot better than I actually enjoyed it on my rewatch, but regardless, we're going to be talking about it today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. So, a couple things that I want to talk before we actually dive into the story, okay? This is how the Hulk should be. I don't recall the actor's name, I don't know the actor's name, but whoever this dude is that played this version of the Hulk is infinitely better than Mark Ruffalo. I don't hate Mark Ruffalo or anything, but man, this is just so much better. The actor's better, the tension's better, the actual version of the Hulk is better. The Hulk is actually scary again. The scream of the Hulk, the way that it fights, the ferociousness of it, the fear that it strikes into people. This is the Hulk done correctly. However, the movie I didn't really love all that much, okay? When I was a kid, I remembered seeing this, man. I remember coming out of the theaters and I was like, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've carried that opinion throughout, like, my entire life. I'm 27 years old now. And I watched it for the first time again. I didn't like it nearly as much. I think it's because the movie moved way too quickly. I think there was, like, it spent way too much time trying to be deep. It spent way too much time trying to build the relationship between Bruce and his significant other. When, like, it didn't really matter. I came there to see the Hulk smash things, and it was difficult for me to really care about everything. Like, okay, he was spying on Betty, and Betty was like, oh my god, Bruce, oh my god, and they had these emotional rain scenes and all that. It just didn't hit. I think it moved too fast. That's an issue of world building, I guess. I don't really know, but when the Hulk was actually on screen, that's where this movie shines. So, like I said, the movie, it gets straight into it. We get the idea of the Hulk. We get that he's a fugitive. He transforms for the first time. I think his heart rate has to go over 200. I believe that's what it was. He wears a heart rate monitor and beep, 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 beep. He turns into the Hulk. When he's the Hulk, that's great to see. He terrorizes people. People have to escape. That was a little bit of a quick scene, though, because then he's a fugitive, because obviously Ross and the entire government want to use him for a weapon. Now, here's my issue with this movie, because what exactly else is there to talk about? Okay, he slices his finger by accident. There's gamma-infected blood that drops into whatever it ended up dropping into. They figure out where the Hulk is. He's communicating with someone named Mr. Blue. He wants to find a cure, and he gets caught. He has a relationship with Betty. Like, he sees Betty, and again, like, what can we break down about it? It's like, the way that they presented this is like when Tom Holland reunited with Iron Man, like in Endgame, where it's like, oh my god, they've been dead. They've been building this relationship over movies and movies and movies and movies. But this is like the first time that we're seeing them. So I feel nothing when they're like all loving each other. The music is like the deepest that it's ever been. I don't know. I just think I like the Hulk when it's more serious, but this was just way too deep in my opinion. Regardless, continuing on. He gets to the university, trying to find a cure. He gets ambushed. This is the, besides the end, the second best scene in the entire movie. I always laugh when I think about this, because I remember I saw this movie with my dad and my uncle, and you know, like when the sound machine, they were trying to get to the Hulk, and the Hulk was smashing tanks, screaming and all that? My uncle actually fell asleep in the movie theater and was snoring. My dad and I looked, and we were watching like this insane scene with the Hulk, and they're like shooting each other, machine guns, tanks, helicopters, everything, and it's like loud in there. And I think that might be one of the reasons why I thought this movie was way better than it was, because I've also carried that movie, or that feeling with me throughout my entire life. My dad and I always talk about, like, hey, remember we fell asleep during the Hulk? And he like, I don't know how that's possible. I have no idea, but regardless, he did. But for the actual scene, incredible. Again, capturing the Hulk the way that the Hulk should be. Terrifying. He did not want to transform, but he did transform. The way that the hand just comes up on the glass, he's set free, he's destroying everybody. And then I actually didn't mind Blonsky too. He was kind of like a Captain America type figure until the end of the movie. I laughed when he, after everything, he walked up to Hulk and was like, is that all you got? And then just boom, front kick. Loved all of that. The dude was way too overconfident. That's another thing that I had a problem with. Like, this movie is moving way too fast. Blonsky, why is he so excited to turn into a Hulk? Like, all of a sudden, this dude's just power hungry. He's going to do everything to get Bruce. I don't know. I just don't feel it. Does that make sense? But the tank scene was cool. The sound machine was cool. And another thing about Betty is, when she was screaming like, "Dad, no!" Like, I didn't care about that either. I didn't feel the weight of anything. I loved this movie when the Hulk was smashing things. And I'm not like just primitive like that. I don't just want to watch movies that have nothing but action. For this particular movie, I don't know, man, it just didn't hit. But after that fight, Bruce ends up getting in contact with Mr. Blue. He ends up finding a cure, but they're not sure about the cure. So he gets injected. It might be better. It might not be. Obviously, we know that it's not going to be better. So he takes the cure and then gets brought into custody. But at the same time, Blonsky stuck around with Mr. Blue. And he's like, hey, I demand you infuse me with this stuff. Even though he was warned about the super soldier serum and whatever was in the Hulk, I don't know, like gamma blood radiation. Blood's not radiation, but you get my point. I don't know exactly what it was called. Whatever Bruce's blood was, he wanted it, and he made it happen. He turned into Abomination. Abomination starts like tearing through the city, and I gotta say, Abomination, so cool, so cool. I loved him. He was great. He was terrifying, and honestly, the graphics, while they weren't perfect, they kind of held up. Like, I wasn't looking at this going, oh my god. Like, if you go back and watch that very, very first Hulk movie, that looks beyond horrible compared to what we have now. So this was good, but we have another really emotional scene where Bruce is like, hey, someone's got to stop him. It's me. But Bruce, you don't even know if it'll work. Obviously, it's going to work. He jumps out of the helicopter, lands, and this is the climax of the movie, and this is the greatest part. Honestly, one of the better fights in the MCU. I loved Abomination and Hulk going against each other. It was brutal. They're screaming at each other, and man, this Hulk's scream is so much better. So much better. But I can't exactly break down the fight for you. It was just really cool. It was brutal. It was cool. I loved the people in the way. I loved how they used the cars. I loved how they used the chains. We got to see Hulk smash. We got to see Hulk clap. All of that stuff. Bruce ends up finally killing... Oh, he doesn't kill Abomination. Weirdo. But Betty makes him stop. Like, why are you ruining everything? Let him choke Abomination out. And the movie kind of ends there. The movie kind of ends because he escapes. The military is kind of okay with him, kind of not. Bruce is sat down meditating. Everything's okay. Betty's wondering where he is. And then Robert Downey Jr. comes and visits Ross and said, hey, what if I told you we're putting a team together? You know what's funny is I didn't know there was a post-credit scene when I watched this as a kid because that was my first time seeing it. I didn't know that existed. But this movie, I enjoyed every single time the Hulk was on screen. But everything in between, I was kind of just... I found myself waiting for the Hulk to come out. It was too deep. The movie moved way too fast to be that deep. And I think it would have been more fun as just like a solid runaway movie, like consistently just running away and people trying to catch him. But regardless, the fight scenes were good enough where I was like, hey, this is A-okay. It's unfortunate that the Hulk, became what it was. I liked the Hulk a lot in Ragnarok, but that was a one-time thing, and then they made him too jokey. This is how the Hulk should be. The actor is so much better here, but the movie didn't really hold up, and it was a little bit of a culture shock to my system because I went through my entire life thinking this was one of the best movies ever. Let me know what you thought about the first Hulk movie down below, guys. And if you're interested, because we have been going through the entire Infinity Saga again, then check out this video on screen reviewing the very first Iron Man movie. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for being here. Take care, everybody.